Well, good morning my lovelies, and welcome to a much improved, bright, sunny, cold Tuesday morning. I hope you're all well. Well, yesterday was just an absolute washout, wasn't it, lovelies? Hey, the rain here in sort of Tamworth, Staffordshire area was horrific. Yes, I got wet. No, me and Woo didn't go out because she doesn't go out in the rain. You know what she's like. She's a bit of a tit, bless her. But hey ho, it's a much brighter day, a much nicer day today. But it's still cold. It's still very cold. So today, lovelies, we have our third full moon of the year. And tonight we have a worm moon. Yes, indeedy we do. Now, for those of you who watch regularly, you'll know that all the moons have names, and I usually, when I do a moon video, I usually explain it. So March's moon is called a worm moon, and it's called a worm moon because the indigenous people of America noticed that from about March onwards the ground starts to warm up. You know, things that are growing, things are bursting out of the ground, including worms. So they must have noticed that while we have this warm spell she says, they've noticed more worms on the ground. There is another school of thinking though, and I didn't know this till yesterday. I always assumed that a worm moon was called so because of the amount of worms that were coming up through the ground. However, what I did read, I'm not sure how true this is, but what I did read was that the other school of thought, and other tribes, because different tribes have different names for the same moon depending on their location, a lot of them noticed what they thought were worms, but they're not. They're beetle larvae, and they were coming out of things like thawed trees and thawed hidey holes and hideouts as the ground got warmer. So that's the other explanation for it. But as I say, different tribes across America had different names for the same moon. Other names that the moons were known for was snow goose moon, because they noticed that there was a lot of snow geese probably moving to migratory lands for breeding. But yeah, so yeah, it's a worm moon tonight, lovelies. So yeah, well, I mean, normally we put our crystals out for the moon to cleanse them. Now I always say this, I always remind people, I always say this, because I've done it once and I ruined a crystal through doing this because I didn't realise. I always put my crystals in a glass jar with a lid, because some crystals don't do very well when they get wet, they disintegrate. So everything that I work with and everything that I wear goes into a glass jar, and mine go out in the garden. They sit on my little bench and the moon does its work. But if you don't have access to a garden, or you know, you've only got a front garden and it's not very safe to put things out there on, you can always put them on your windowsill where you see the moon through your window. Put them on your windowsill, and the moon will cleanse them for you, and it can be lovely. You can also do moon enchantments. You can go outside, you can speak to the moon, you can ask her for your help, you can send your intentions and your wishes like you do with the new moon. Write them down on a piece of paper Get yourself a fireproof dish. Do this outside, lovelies, please. Remember, safety first. And set them on fire. And when the ashes are cool, you can either tip them out into your hands. Remember, they've got to be cool. And blow them up towards the moon. Or you do what I do and you bury them. I bury them in my garden. Yes. So you can bury them. And always say thank you to the moon and send her your blessings. But yeah, so that's tonight's worm moon, our third moon of the year, third full moon of the year. I did spot her yesterday. Being all hazy and mystical behind the clouds in the appalling weather that we had. But I couldn't what's the word I'm looking for? I couldn't see her properly. I know she's there, but she was very mystical and very hazy behind the clouds. So lovelies, time to go home, cup of tea, time for work. So I hope you all have an absolutely fabulous Tuesday. Sending you worm moon blessings. Do look after yourselves, lovelies, and remember, if you're struggling, please reach out, because there's always somebody there that'll help you. Look after one another. And if nothing else in this world, lovelies, please be kind, because you don't know what that person's going through that stood next to you. And as always, we're sending you all much love and many blessings. Lulu, say goodbye. Good girl.